Hello everyone, it is Tuesday, September 6th. We're a couple days late, but it's time for a garden tour. We'll see what's going on. We have not gotten too much done this last month. We've been doing some stuff inside, but we spent a couple days out here and got some new plans, so I'll kind of show you that. The house is still not painted, maybe when it cools down. But back here, nothing's really changed. The pipe vines are still working on taking up the pergola. They're doing good, but not as quick as we were hoping, but that's fine. We've gotten tons of butterflies off of them. Under here is kind of a mess. And it being September, we're getting towards the end of the growing season in Florida, but it'll look good until November, December. Then the few plants we have that do die back will die back. We'll get some frost damage, but not really time to worry about that yet. Over here is where our cable and power and everything's run into the house, so we can't do anything with extensive roots. Need to get those cannas out of there too. But it might be cool to do a bunch of different heliconas and maybe bromeliads or something just to make it prettier, but again, that's something to do after the house is painted, not before, and then have to climb through it. Ginger is doing what it always does, and that's why we couldn't dig him out and divide him too, is those utility lines run underneath there. Same with this massive hedge. We used a hand shovel and planted them when they were really small, only like 4 or 5 inches deep, but they are doing great. And I'm going to probably top them pretty soon and then try and get them to bush out a little bit more. But it's made neighbors completely invisible there, and we need to work on get more stuff like that just kind of throughout the yard, because one of the major things we did this month is trim up the bamboos. Any super small canes, and like I said, these are only 2.5 years old, but any of the original canes or branches that were down low, we've gone ahead and trimmed out so you can see all the culms, and it creates a little canopy to get some shade, but you can still walk under it. So I think it turned out amazing, and it looks great, but it opened up some of those sight lines again, so we got more that we'll have to plant along the fence line, and I'm thinking that'll also be cord lines and I don't know, just stuff that's not going to branch into the neighbor's yard, because, I mean, already we've got bamboos hanging over the fence, and I don't want to make it any worse than it already is on them. But that's what we got planned for over here. We got some new Burl Marks philodendrons. That's the originals, and we've taken cuttings and started new pots, and are now just placing it around more. Mojito elephant ears, some philodendrons. And this path you can walk down again, which is nice. But yeah, those Burl Marxes are doing awesome. I can't wait for that to fill up all the way underneath there. Got another Dendrocalamus latiflorus. Shoot, we'll take a look at that from a ways back, because I really like how this is looking now. And all of the new culms for this year, which I believe we have 11, none of them are poking out at the top of last year's growth yet. Last year's is still throwing big new branches, but again, 2.5 years off a 3-gallon pot. That's pretty good, but it's just got a really nice base shape and is looking really good. Hopefully they branch before winter, we'll see. They might just shoot up to full height and then kind of wait until spring, which is I think what this one did last year. But we will see about that. Bambusa textilis contracta, looking nice. It's got a bunch of new culms just starting to branch out now, but it's probably 10-12 foot this year. That was planted a little later than the originals too, but we've trimmed him up a bit, but there's still a few low branches, just trying to keep some of that sight line so we're not looking at neighbors. Cordylines, heliconas, copper leaf, pinstripe, ginger. Over here we have all the calatheas and painted Rex begonias, which that will just keep filling out and getting some size to it, and that'll look really nice in a year or so. Oh, that's a Hilo Beauty. A couple of different philodendrons starting to climb. We also might do some more stuff like this to block out sight lines too, just like plant posts and try and get things to grow up it. Maybe do some hanging baskets and stuff too, but just different things so you can't really see through. The Dendrocalamus valdus, we trimmed him up just like the others, and it is amazing for being less than 3 years old, but not anywhere near full grown, but doing great and really looking good. Got a couple of branches I cut when we did all this trimming, and seeing if I can get those to propagate. That'll be a different video, and we'll see if it works, because they haven't thrown any new things yet, but they're still green, so we'll see. Lots of monsteras. Got some cordylines that'll eventually poke out taller than them as they come up. Bambusa Old Hammy threw 3 shoots this year, which they're just starting to branch out now. Probably 25 foot maybe this year. And that one was one of the original bamboos we got, but we moved it and it really set it back. So, oh, there's another new shoot. That's awesome. That one I have not seen before. Haven't spent much time out here this year either. But that's a good size. It should get about the same as the others. So that's cool. But yeah, hopefully next year it has a lot better season now that it's becoming more established. Carefully step through here. I haven't been back here since I think last month, at the garden tour, but we've got a couple different helicanas we got at a plant sale. These are not the same ones as the back wall, but they're supposed to be similar growth habits. I have no clue what they are, but we might have it written down somewhere. Then a bird's paradise, which that was originally an indoor plant and did not like it at all. And after it was about dead, we brought it out, started doing a little better, and it finally has a home. And then this pole here, I think we're going to plant another giant type of philodendron to climb up it and just block sight lines. We've got this variegated spiral ginger, which is cool. But yeah, there's not too much else in this bed. We've got a giant elephant here that's finally starting to do pretty good. It's taller than me by a couple feet, so that's cool. And then we trimmed up the Bambusa Nana, which another beautiful bamboo. And we saw one of those at a nursery in Clearwater that was nice and mature, and it looks even better in person than the pictures, which are just what we were basing it off when we bought it. It stays really tight clumping, and I'm excited for that one. Kind of a side look at that back bed, which doesn't look good from the side, but it looks great from the front, so we'll go look at it from there. Whoop, sorry buddy. Yeah, so the back wall is looking amazing right now. It's a mix. The back line is Bambusa textilis gracilis. We've got 7 of those. Then some blood bananas, a couple of Alexander palms, which you can't barely even see anymore. Helicanas, all the same variety. We bought one little rhizome when we started all this, again, 2.5 years ago. Had it in the ground, well, it was in a pot for a long time. Planted it, moved it, split it, moved it, split it. And in 2.5 years off of a $10 plant, we have that for a back wall, which is amazing. You can see the shed there. We've got a plan to eliminate those sightlines too. And then there's, like I said, Alexander palms, blood bananas, some gingers, shampoo and shell, Cordylines, crotons, elephant ears, and a couple of ferns. But this is really starting to look great. I just have to change up how we're doing the watering on this, because it's really, some of the front crotons and stuff throughout the year have looked really sad because the sweet potato vines have ate up the sprinkler heads. But that's a project for next year, I think. Got the new tank for the pump, which is still working really good. It's had a lot of issues, but that is anything. It takes work. Shell ginger, banana, that same Alexander palm, and that's the original Textilis gracilis we planted back here, which did not grow near as large diameter culms, but grew a lot more. And I have no idea why that is. That was planted in the spring, and the ones in the back were planted in the fall. So don't know if that makes a difference or if it's just chance. Still learning, but yeah, that back wall is looking great, and you can just see the tops of the Textilis gracilis poking out now, and there's the Nana. But next year they'll probably hit max height, I guess. That cable up top is about 16 or 18 feet in the air. But they're getting pretty close to the fence line too. Oh. We've got a storm coming, which is good. I turned off the sprinkler to do this so they can use the water. Yeah, but the ones that are growing too close to the fence, I'll dig out in the fall, get them potted up, and get more bamboos. And we don't really have a need for them, but we'll see. And now, this is a new bed. I don't know if we had it at the last garden tour or not. And we were originally thinking we were going to put a bamboo in it. But when we were at a plant show yesterday, they had a lot of palms. It was a palm guy, but he had some philodendron giganteums growing up the palms, and it looked amazing. It'd be something different, and we wouldn't have to really worry about it taking over. So I think we're going to go that route, and that's something different too, which will be cool. And then back in there, kind of near the bird bath, we're going to put a waterfall and have it come down into a little basin here. That's the plan. It's probably going to change, but we'll work on that when the weather cools down too. We trimmed up the bananas, which desperately needed it. And again, those are 2 years old, maybe. And we split off a bunch of pups, and we'll split off a bunch more. And the bananas are a lot of work. It was really good for fast height and tropical look, and I don't want to get rid of them. But in time, as the bamboos back here kind of mature, we'll probably have to lose them and maybe get some palms or do something different. Also down this path here, we now have a bench. My wife got it on the internet for cheap, used, and that's exactly what she wanted. So we have a nice little sitting area. Ooh, another new shoot. This is Dendrocalamus valdes, just like on the other side. Really excited about that, and we're doing the bow marks to fill in around him, just like the Lattifloris. Then it's just a mix of cannas, cordylines, crotons, and we'll get more fun like plants next year. We've got a lot of low stuff, and then the big bamboos, and we'll need to integrate some more mid-height stuff and just kind of fill it out to kind of block sight lines and make it look like it goes on further than it does. Here's our Dendrocalamus gigantus. Still just 2 shoots this year. Didn't do much. It was planted in the spring, but that's alright. It's doing good. Shampoo ginger. There's the bamboos we're working on propagating. 1 definitely didn't make it, but 2 are still green, so we'll see. Cordylines have some seeds, which I want to get. They're red sisters, so they're not anything special, but we've got so many in this backyard, I don't know if anything could have cross-pollinated and we get something cool. Plus, I've never grown them from seed, so I'll be curious to see how that goes. Gingers, cordylines, elephant ears, sweet potatoes. The Latiflorus triple hybrid, still just 2 shoots this year, but that hasn't been in the ground long at all. I forget what month we planted that. May, June, I think the beginning of June. July, August, September, so 3 months. So can't expect much from that yet. Before we go down there, we've got our blue chungi and our emerald bamboo, both of which doing really good this year. And there's the yep, might not have too much longer out here, but they're probably 15 or so feet, and they're less than a year old. Each one's thrown 4, 8, 9 or 10 culms. This one's still got some new ones coming up. Really excited for that. So we'll see how that goes. And probably in the spring, before it's shooting time, we'll trim those up just like we did the ones on the back walls and open that up. Did the same thing here. We had a ton of sweet potato, and those were branched to the ground. And these are Timor Blacks. This one is doing amazing. I don't know the difference between 6 or 8 feet, but he's just branching out and looking so good. Probably 20 feet. Those were planted about a year ago. So next year should be really good for them too. And he's got a new shoot too. So there's all sorts of stuff still popping up. We'll go down this path over here. We've got another Dendrocalamus latiflorus. And this one kind of seemed like it wasn't going to do much and then exploded, and it should be about as big as that first one we saw this year. So really excited about that. Our Areca palms doing good. And then it's just ferns and black coral, elephant ears, and there's a pothos. Oh, gingers in there. But that really blocks sight lines nice. We also got pothos coming up. And that'll be cool too, to get some larger leaves. Another latiflorus. Still not doing too much, but that's alright, it's still alive. It will, oh, new shoot. Right there. So, that's all I see over here. But if that one's set back a year or two from the others, it'll still get there. The other side had vegetable gardens on it years ago and lots of rich soil. And over here is where we built a boat, and it has all sorts of probably boat building chemicals that plants don't like. So, still doing good, just growing a little slower on this side. There's the other banana. And all of these pups, maybe next time I get a day off, I can dig out 5 or 6 of those and pot them up, because this doesn't really need to get any bigger. Buddha's belly, trimmed him up a little too. It's got 1 new culm this year, and then the one just shooting now, so 2 for the year. Excited to see what happens with that. Got blood bananas, some cannas, and a lot of trash back there. Chinese dwarf, trim him up a little too. He's getting some big culms this year, maybe gonna hit 15 or 20 feet. But everybody has pictures of him and they just chop it into a hedge and grow it to 8 or 10 feet and keep it manicured, and I don't want that. So we're gonna grow it to full size, trim up the culms so you can see and see how it looks, and be a little experiment, I guess. Our nice vegetable garden is completely eaten and needs work. This is yin yang bamboo. Going slow, but it's going all good. Our multiplex gold stripe, I think it is. I don't really care for. It's just so floppy. It got, I forget the name of the disease, but we treated it, cut down the old growth. The new ones seem to be healthy, but they just flop everywhere, and I don't know if next year they'll be more upright, but so far, not a fan. It's like that, and then we had a Banopsis that I didn't really love either, but luckily it's not doing much, so whatever. Take a walk through the shade house to go see the yellow bamboo. Got this cleaned up too. We'll probably try and sell off most of that, but over here is our collection of stuff that it has to get planted out or propagated off. But a lot of that will go in the new bed by the waterfall this fall when that happens, or winter. Then we've got Golden Hawaiian, looking really nice. It's only through I think 2 shoots this year, so nothing too vigorous, but again, I don't know if I even fertilized that. It's been slow to get water. It is now, but it just doesn't have the same type of irrigation as the rest of the yard. But it's doing better. Yeah, that's pretty much it for that. Got a ton of bromeliads in pots. Find them homes or sell them or do something, I don't know. Yeah, over the winter we'll deal with this too, because that's just a mess. And I got some ceramic pots. I think I'm going to drag that into the shade house and put pots on there to sell. And that's not good. It's a philodendron gigantum, but I don't know what's going on with his leaves. I will try and figure that out, because there's a couple elephant ears we had that have been doing that. I don't know what it is, and I need to figure that out. It's sunny, but I think that's about all the time we have. We'll look at the front real quick. Oh, this is another one where his leaves are getting, I don't know if it's burnt or pests. I don't see any bugs. I don't know. If anybody sees this and has any idea, let me know, because I need to get that fixed. The front still looks rough. And we're back, and it's later in the day, and it just rained. But like I said, front yard, all planted like 6 months ago, maybe less. So it's just starting out. But we've got some cordyceps and bromeliads. Really, in here we've put in 4 bamboos, which will be the anchors, and as they get bigger, we could put in shade plants, but for now we just have whatever pretty much we had laying around. It could split off in the back. Started, and that elephant ear is doing it too. I gotta figure out what that is. But this Bambusa diacala striata, I'm saying that wrong, I'm sure, but it's got 4 shoots coming up, 3 like that, and 1's just peeking out the top. I don't think there's anything new. I don't know. But yeah, really excited about that one. Should get 30-ish feet, so that'll be nice. Nothing too big. We've got some elephant ears and a ton of sweet potatoes, eating bromeliads. There's a monstera somewhere in there. I think that's a birds of paradise. Nope, that's a helicana. Alright, there, more monsteras. The nice color that the back will someday be. More monsteras, mojito elephant ears, some gingers, bromeliads. This one is Dendrocalamus minor angel of mist. This one, out of the front ones, definitely the most vigorous. Oh, there's another new shoot. 2 more. 3 more. Oh, 1, 2, and there's a 3rd and a 4th. So it's already thrown 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, with 4 more coming. So that's 12. It's maxing out maybe 10, 11 feet. But once that all branches out, we'll go ahead and trim that up a little bit, and it'll throw some shade, and it'll be a nice view out the front. Then this is the Giga whatever black bamboo. Out of all of them, probably the slowest of them. But none of that really matters. They'll all get big quick. No new shoots on him. So he's just, they're all kind of laying down from the rain too. Hello, lizard. Oh, there's a new shoot on him. Cool. Right there. Oh, it's there. There. But not as vigorous as the angel mist, at least not yet. But we'll see what happens. Birds of paradise, elephant ears, curtains and cordylines. And then the front wall, which as it gets bigger will make it to where we don't see the street. We just see our little tropical paradise in here. We've got some pitch apples, copperleaf, and these were taken off as a cutting from that side hedge, which is still less than a year old. So this is second generation and it's this big already. Cordylines, helicanas, birds of paradise, purple sweet potatoes, and it's just pretty much that repeated. This is a blood banana, bambusa, don't remember the rest of it. But it's just, this was one plant we split out of the other grove, and now it's got 5 or 6 plants and some good height on it. The gingers, the front line just repeats itself. Another new shoot. This is Gigalotia, whatever, Robusta, planted in March. All of these were. But it's got one nice big new culm. And then some more gingers and crotons and cordylines. And then eventually, once we sell the boat over here, we'll start planting this whole side and bring beds all the way to the property line, having a little path to get out. And then we'll have almost no grass. And eventually this grass, I'm sure, will die, and we'll put rocks and pavers and stuff, and no maintenance other than massive amounts of weeding in all the beds. But once the bamboo starts shedding leaves too, that'll help keep down on it. But yeah, this still needs lots and lots and lots more plants, but just an update on how it's going. March, April, May, June, July, August, September. So just under 6 months. This was just a big grassy field, so. And then we'll plan out the other side as well, which right now is just storing a lot of trash. But this is the side with the power lines and everything, so we'll have to get very creative with how we do that. But you can see all the bamboos coming through. But that'll be it for this month. Thank you for watching. Hope everyone's doing good, and see you soon. Thanks, bye.